Station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neal.
That would make me terrible, Troy.
I'm Treacherous Trista.
We're joined by the fine folks here of Blind. We have writer Joe Knetter.
Yes, I'm Numbnuts Netter.
Director Marcel Walz.
Yes, hello. So nice to be here.
Yeah. And the pretty boy himself, Jed Rowen.
Hi there.
Hello. Yeah. I think you're a pretty boy with or without the mask.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Either way.
Well, it's very cool that you brought it with you, though.
Yes.
Very happy.
I take it everywhere I go, actually.
Well, you need it right now. You need the mask, so it works out.
Of course.
We
and I have the shirt too. I brought the shirt as well. I'm just
that's very
kind of
cool.
a walking billboard.
Yeah. Well, honestly, I was going to talk about that. Just there's a lot of merchandise for Blind, which is very cool. There was Halloween costumes. The shirts are very cool. All kinds of stuff.
Yeah, the Halloween costume is amazing. But listen, I understand Jed wearing the shirt to promote, but you're never going to see me do any kind of promotion like that.
You're right.
Very cool. As long as we don't ask you to promote the late, great Sid Haig tonight, because I know you have a tattoo of him, but we might get kicked off YouTube.
I have a tattoo of me, but you'll get kicked off of YouTube for sure. But yeah. Marcel's the one that's kicked ass with the merch.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, who designed the logo? Who designed the poster art?
The poster, that was, so the first two posters, a guy from Germany, Chris Fischer, designed those two. And the artwork which the US used, and I think Brazil and Germany, was a guy named Andrew Kern. I don't know. But he's a great guy, and he's also designing the artwork for the next one. So yeah, he's great.
Oh, very good. So, well, I guess before we get too far, we should one of you guys or all of you explain what Blind is for people who have not seen the movie. The movie, not the condition. I think most people probably watching know what Blind is.
Okay, well, it starts with Marcel.
Yeah, I mean, Blind is about an Hollywood actress, Faye. She lost her vision and everything, and about after an eye surgery, laser surgery, and now she's living in the wonderful house in the Hollywood Hills and getting stalked by her super fan, pretty boy. And then everything goes crazy. Yep, that's the short version of the story.
Yeah, I had LASIK surgery many years ago. I'm glad I had it before.
So I think it looks like it went well.
It did go well. Yes.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
Yeah.
Now, I know you got like Joe and obviously Joe and Sarah, but Joe, Sarah, and Marcel, you guys worked together before. But Jed, had you worked with them before?
Not with Marcel. Joe, have we worked together? I don't think so. But I met Joe years ago at a convention in Denver, like in the late 2000s. And
like 12 years ago.
Yeah, we always kept in touch and had a lot in common. So, you know, who would have thought all these years later we're making these great movies?
Yeah. Did you have him in mind at all for Pretty Boy? How did that come about?
Well, yeah. I mean, maybe let's. Would you like to hear the story of how the full movie came about? It's short. Yeah. It's going to be. I don't know. It's long. It's longer than the movie, actually. So. So it started with Marcel.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds weird when I tell the story, but it all started with a dream. And I had a dream about a crew shooting in my house, and everyone is walking around, and and then I went to someone and asked him, hey, do you really think that will work, because she's blind and she can't see him? And then I woke up and I wrote the word blind down. On the next day, I went on a hike with my dog, Chloe. And I was always thinking, is there a movie out there with a blind girl getting stalked by someone? And But I couldn't remember of anything. So then Sarah called me and asked, hey, Marcel, you want to come over watching a movie, order pizza? I said, yep, perfect. So at that night, we start watching, what was it, Joe?
Assassination Nation.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good. Movie.
Which we haven't finished yet.
Oh, okay.
So we stopped the movie after 50 minutes, and Joe threw all the garbage away, and then I started telling Sarah the story. Hey, I had a dream last night about a blind girl living in a house and getting stalked by a creepy masked killer. And she, that's cool. And then Joe came over and said, hey, that sounds great. Hey, let's what about this? And then we threw all those ideas in one pot and said, hey, that's a good idea, and that's great. So Joe.
So then he turned to Sarah and said, well, you can play the blind girl, which meant I knew automatically I was going to have to write it, because she, it's as an indie actress, it's hard to get roles like that out here, especially when you come from the ultra low budget horror world, where you're kind of expected that this is what you're going to do. So I knew that was going to happen. And then me and Marcel discussed, well, the killer needs to be weird. So who can we have as the killer? And it was obvious. It's Jed.
Yeah, when I was first approached about that, about a creepy weirdo, I was like, wow, that's like a real stretch for me.
Yeah.
How am I going to do that?
Well, the first treatment.
That was a joke. That was a joke, by the way. I'm used to playing.
And he is even in real life. But the first treatment even just said Jed does weird shit, because we had to go quick. The thing with this movie was we had a 5-week window to make a movie due to various reasons. So from his dream, we had to wrap 5 weeks later, no matter what. That was the thing. And we also made it for $25,000. We made it for no money. So it became an exercise of, okay, let's make this movie. Let's have fun. We have this 5-week window. Let's use our friends. We did Taco Tuesday every week. Jed was a part of it. Pretty much everybody affiliated with the movie, we hung out with every week for Taco Tuesday. So we thought, let's just, as friends, see if we can make a movie that we kind of just pull out of our ass. And when you do an indie movie like that with no budget, I'm a big believer in you just do something different. You try to do something a little different. You can be weird. You can do the opposite. With Blind, I think most times we went in directions maybe you weren't expecting. Certainly movies like this always end with that big 6-minute fight chase scene through the house. And we did something different, and people were going to love it or hate it. We knew that. We knew it was a movie that needed to play festivals to find an audience. And I mean, we were just so happy being creative during that time, because going from a dream to wrapping a movie in 5 weeks is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. There's no time really for anything. I mean, we were shooting within 2.5 weeks of the dream. So it kind of became something we were doing it as friends. And very quickly, when we started filming, it kind of realized, hey, we got some kind of cool here. Our vibe is working well, because Marcel had worked with Sarah, but we hadn't worked together before. And it was just a fun experience, just putting it together and seeing, well, what can we do with this little movie we pulled out of our ass. And Thomas Riss shot the hell of it. It looks like a beautiful movie. You'd never guess it was made for $25,000, which we were never going to make public until we ended up getting all our distro deals. And now we can say it just because it doesn't matter anymore. But I was proud of everybody. I mean, the project challenged everybody involved. Everybody had to do something they weren't necessarily comfortable with. Jed is primarily, he started as a theater actor. So he's used to monologues and talking and the stage presence. So he has a role where he has no necessary voice.
I try to talk Joe into letting me have at the end, like this Tears in the Rain monologue, the Rutger Hauer at the end of Blade Runner. I just kept pestering him.
Yeah.
And he just, he didn't go for it.
No.
So.
I thought about it, but that would have been one too many monologues at the end.
How close does the pretty boy look to the dream?
Actually, there was, I haven't seen Pretty Boy in the dream, but I knew I want kind of a Ken doll mask thing, and I knew I want that baby blue suit. So that's actually one of the first thing, right, Joe? What we mentioned that night. So I want that. He has to have blonde hair and a Ken doll mask, kind of, and this baby blue suit.
Who thought I would be Ken doll? I mean, who would have thought that?
I think it's perfect casting.
Yeah, I think
hopefully
there are
it's
a
not
few.
anatomically correct.
No, definitely not. Having seen him change a few times, it's not anatomically correct for sure. But I think the look of the character Marcel had right away. We came up with the ending was actually the first thing we thought of, and Ken Doll just stuck in my head. So then we contacted Ken Hall about the mask, who's great. He did the mask for the strangers and all that, and he was able to put that together really fast because we had no turnaround time.
Oh yeah,
5 weeks for the whole thing, so you need the mask pretty quick.
Yeah, we were filming in 2.5, so it was crazy, very crazy.
You mentioned the look. The movie looks really good, and it does. And I like the contrast of a lot of the beginning is kind of bright and like the soft colors, and then you almost, I won't say soap opera, but it looks very pretty. And then you have the purples and the blues, so weird. Almost like an Italian movie when Pretty Boy shows up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so whose idea was for all the different colors and just kind of the contrast in the looks?
Well, I think that was kind of my idea from the beginning. What I wanted is a very, very super pretty movie, because that shows the audience, look, you can see that, but not everyone can see that. You know what I mean? So especially for her in that moment, in that character. So everything, even the creepy scenes should be super beautiful and super whatever. That's why we used all those Christmas lights for the basement and all those holiday decoration in the basement, and everything looks so super. There's a lot of glitter and lights and everything, and that's
definitely a Euro thing going on with this.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of glitter going on. So and that was a very important choice for me, because it's so unbelievable, super pretty, and she can't see it, and she can't see that the whole world around her, and that's why we choose also the house in the hills and the glass house, and that's
Was that somebody whose house was that?
That was mine at that time.
Oh, okay. It's very nice. Trista, you have a question?
I do have a question. It's a bit of an offshoot, but I recently worked on a job for a friend at this amazing studio in Burbank with beautiful horror art everywhere. And then I turned and I looked at the office, and Joe's name was on the door.
that is
So I
Wolfpack
wanted to
Studios.
know more about your studio. I didn't know about this. It's amazing. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you. That was Rob Lucas and Mike Ruggiero. They're really the owners of the studio. I've known Rob for like 18 years. I met him at like the first convention I ever did. And he always had a dream to have his own studio, which is called Wolfpack Studios. We kind of try to specialize in the horror stuff. We've done a lot of cool stuff there. We did the wraparound stuff for the first season of Creep Show there. Rob and I have worked on a couple John Carpenter music videos. The studio's great. You were there for the Joe Bob thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to come swing by that night, but then ended up being in the middle of a couple different things. But it's a cool studio. It's
Trista, he's just being modest. Joe's like a bigwig. He's like runs studios and stuff.
That's what I heard. I heard he was very fancy.
Well, I try to be. The beard is just to make people think I'm tough, but really I'm just a little kitty cat.
I'll have to ask Sarah about that.
Well, I would like to ask her about that too, but she don't talk to me anymore. That's it. we're between movies, so she don't talk to me until I have a movie coming for her.
What have you done for me lately?
Yeah, no, it's a cool studio. We just shot something there. If Marcel wants to say anything about that.
Yeah, I mean, we shot the sequel there, Pretty Boy, which is the name of the sequel, and we shot that 2 weeks ago there. 3 weeks ago, right, Joe?
Yeah, we wrapped on election night.
Yes.
Wow.
So, which is cool. It was cool to get to be able to do a sequel on a higher budget before the first one even comes out. Whereas with the first movie, we really wanted to do like a 70s slow burn kind of drama suspense thing. Part two, I guess, which is called Pretty Boy, is very much an 80s horror movie. It is a 80s horror through and through. So it was really fun to get bloody.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of kills in there. It's great. It's totally 80s, like Joe said. It's still very colorful and very pink because it's set on a Valentine's Day. So it's kind of Halloween 1 and 2. It's the same night from the first one. I don't want to say too much, but it's pretty. It's cool. I really love the idea what Joe wrote and everything. It's yep.
Pretty in pink, pretty boy.
Pretty in pink, yes.
Pretty boy in pink.
There you go.
I think Pretty Boy in Pink is a whole different kind of movie, Jed.
Oh yeah.
Let's be honest. We'll have to go to Chatsworth for that.
Yeah. On the bookcase there behind Joe, he might have it up there. I don't know.
Yeah. Probably already have it. But no, it was cool. I mean, we're all struggling through the same thing with 2020 and, wanting to work, but wanting to be safe. So it was cool to have this window to make the movie and make it safe. We were lucky that I wrote it prior to COVID, but it very much goes into the, kind of Friday the 13th 4 feel where everybody splits up. So it allowed us to shoot a movie with very little people together at each time, which was the safest way to do it. I mean, we worked hard with the COVID stuff, with the testing and the, making sure the meals were separate. We had a COVID person on set every day, just handing out food and crafty. The first one, we wanted to prove that friends could make a movie together. And this one, we wanted to prove that we could do the same thing, but do it safely in the world we're currently in. Cause it can be a challenge. It can be a challenge, but I think I can speak for Marcel and Jed, this last movie, Pretty Boy, was the best experience I've ever had on a film set in my whole career.
Oh,
it was magic.
I agree 1000%. Yeah, it was Absolutely. I was so scared actually because of the COVID thing, and we had a new crew and everything, and we shot in the studio, this and that. There were so many things going on, and I've never been on a set that was so smooth and everything. That was creepy for me. There's okay, probably the next day some people have it. No, but everyone was on point. Every single actor, they gave everything. They nailed the characters so much, and even more. They brought so much into the character, and it was just so amazing to see that. And yeah, it was a so great experience. It was just mind blowing.
Yeah, as far as COVID and safety, I was, wearing a mask anyway.
Yeah,
right.
It was an interesting shoot because the first 2 days we just were shooting. It was basically a comedy. The first 2 days we didn't bring in any of the horror till day 3, so everything was pink. It was all like.
It's a Valentine's party.
Yeah.
It has to be pink.
The first movie was also a Valentine's movie, but we ended up cutting out both scenes that say that, unfortunately. But
the only scene where you can see it is at the end on Tyler's phone. There's the time and the date on his phone. So you see it's the February 15th. So it's the day after. So and that's why the Valentine's party is at the end. How late was it? 3 a.m. or something at the Valentine's party? Yeah,
3 a.m. when we start the movie. And actually, I don't think we've publicly said there's another movie. I think this is a first, right?
Yeah.
So
well, yeah.
I was keeping mum about it. I didn't know what I was allowed to say or not, so I let you guys.
Yeah. Well, that's why I threw it to Marcel, because as the director, he can, if whatever he says is okay, now we can say.
Right.
But
and you're without your head, so it's a big time. You should give out the big announcements here.
Well, that's what we figured. That's what I told these guys. I said, no, let's not do the Stern show. We're gonna go to Without Your Head, and we're gonna just blast them with news. And I'm very happy.
I appreciate that as well, Drew.
I like you. I like you, Neal.
Thank you. I like you as well. I like everyone here.
I like everybody here too.
I like
good.
Me too. And it's a
We're
bummer.
unanimous. I'm not so sure about Neal, but
Yeah.
other than that, everybody's
Well,
really
we have a history together. But.
yeah.
Trista hasn't agreed, but we'll assume she's on board too. She likes everyone. So I don't want to spoil the first movie, but it's apparently you wanted to do a second one. So like, but how early on did you know like it's going to actually occur? We're actually going to be able to make the second movie because you making it before the first one was even out.
Yeah. Marcel, you want to cover that?
I mean, we knew from the after we knew on set from the first one. Oh, if it's doing well somewhere, and if it's doing well on the festivals and the disc show and everything, we need a part 2 to establish Pretty Boy as a slasher villain, as or trying to get him into an iconic slasher. So we need part 2 for that, because in the first one there are some kills, but they're not bloody, they're nothing. It's not, there's no chase scene, there's nothing actually in it. It's more a kind of a stalker movie, and we knew that. So after, I would say, early this year, we started talking about it, and but then COVID hits, and this year in August we knew we will shoot the sequel in October. Yeah.
I mean, we had plans when we were on set that, okay, we're going to make a second and then a third, provided we get there, because you just never know. You never know, especially with a movie like this, whether the audience is going to be there or not. And we've been lucky that we've got distribution worldwide. We've done well. We did well at festivals. The merch stuff really helps. It makes it seem like it's a bigger movie. So, I think when we saw the first cut, Marcel and I knew, okay, we definitely are going to get another one. And we were well on our way, and then COVID hit. And we just didn't think it was right to try to get funding during COVID. So we stopped. And then August, things were looking a little bit better. So we said, okay, let's see what we can do. And we were very grateful to be able to pull that in. We knew, like, everybody was running with Pretty Boy being the slasher, that type of thing, but he really wasn't fully that in the first movie. It wasn't that kind of movie. But the second one needed to be to kind of cement him and give that. And Marcel and I are both come from a world of gore and fucked up stuff. So it was such a different thing for people to see something like that from us, which is, leaning more on the drama and the soap opera stuff. I love that shit. I grew up on soap operas. I love that feeling that can, you don't have to take it super serious. You can kind of smile. And
Joe, why don't you tell everyone that you really do like romantic comedies, like you fessed up to me?
I do like romantic comedies a lot. I like cheese. I like people smiling. I like things being happy. And
how dare you?
I know. And it was just trying to do something weird, do something different. Because if we did just a $25,000 slasher, we wouldn't have the press we have right now. It would just be, okay, cool, done. It was, I think for me, it's that we did something a little out of the box, and it doesn't work for everybody, and I get that. But it's the movie we wanted to make. And I haven't talked a lot lately because Frenchie's been leaving me home alone. And I find that if I sit at home and I talk to myself too long, I start plucking my eyebrows and I'm putting honey on my nipples. It's a weird situation. And, so that's why.
That's bad for ants in the apartment, by the way, if you do that.
Yeah, actually, I'll be honest with you. I smoked a bowl right before coming on because the edible hadn't quite hit fully yet. It's just actually in the middle of this conversation where I'm saying these words together, stringing them into sentences. To you lovely people, it is
nipples Netter.
It is fully developed.
Sarah couldn't make it.
Yep. Yeah, I sent her to get more honey. She's choreographing a scene she's got a movie coming up where she's this, I guess I probably shouldn't say it, but she's a witch. So she's got all these fighting and battling things, and she's choreographing stuff today. So unfortunately she would have loved to have been here. And would have probably kept me in line a little bit more. But so now anybody listening that maybe goes, why does everybody have these monologues in Blind? Now you see why. It's how I talk and how I think and I process. So anyway, did you guys see the game yesterday?
Which game is that?
I don't know, just making conversation.
Yeah. Troy's a big football guy, so I'm sure he saw the game.
Passing the
No,
baton.
it's Wednesday. I don't think there's any game.
Yeah.
AEW though, I didn't watch AEW yet.
Oh, I watch AEW, and a cheap plug for my other show, I Watch Wrestling, every Wednesday night after AEW. I do
you
a
should have
post
said
show.
that. Joe's a big wrestling.
I have it. I recorded it. I just haven't watched it yet, so I'm looking forward to that. And Marcel's a huge wrestling fan.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, he doesn't. I think he did. I think he didn't know that either.
He's learning something new about it.
It's nice to see two guys in the ring and everything, but it's not kind of that wrestling I look. But actually, my husband is a huge wrestling fan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, very good.
The happiest I've ever seen Marcel's husband is when he actually got to put somebody in a sharpshooter in the backyard. It was just a look of glee. It was beautiful.
Was it Frenchie?
It was Frenchie, yes.
And we thought, okay, that she will die now, right now.
He
you flipped her around and everything. Oh,
that was when he was going to
do.
do the tombstone. He was going to do the tombstone, but we stopped him. But
yeah. Be careful out there.
Yeah.
I have a Roddy Piper VHS tape up here.
Oh, very cool. Roddy was very cool. Rob, the owner of Wolfpack, and I were going to be doing a documentary on him prior to him passing away. We spent 4 hours with him, and we were going to do an RV tour across Canada, which I was so looking forward to just hear those stories. And then he passed away.
Wow.
And we were going to do a documentary on Sid, and then he passed
They're
away.
all dead. Every time when Dominic showed me something from the 90s or something, and Joe and Sarah was there, and Joe said, "Well, he's dead. This guy too, and he's dead
Joe,
too."
Joe, your docs are like the kiss of death.
Well, yeah, that's what happens,
No, seriously, I mean, a lot of the wrestlers from that era, they passed away very young.
It was tough because it's you beat yourself up, and then you do drugs to recover, and it's a tough life. It's a tough life.
Oh, yeah.
So, Jed, you mentioned the mask a few times here, and I don't know if we said on air, but off air you said like you had a hard time seeing through it. So, what was that like to film the movie? You're in a mask you can't see through.
Well, it wasn't easy, but I had people. I would feel hands on me, kind of steering me in the right direction. From times on the set.
Interesting.
And Marcel would always take care of my hair, so I didn't have to worry about that. I'm really kind of politicking for him to get a credit for that, like the hair wrangler. Pretty cool. But
that sounds great. Yeah.
But yeah, I view all these things as like, I kind of like challenges, when I do my acting. So this is like, all right, you can't. Not only is it about a blind, lead with Sarah, but I'm kind of blind too. So
you're really blind. Then
Well, and it adds so much because of like the angles he has to tilt his head to see out, give the character very cool looks. And it was funny because he couldn't really see. And in the first movie, there wasn't a lot of ultra violence where we had to be worried about anything happening. Little more action in the second one. And I think we were filming Jed's first day when I turned to Marcel and said, well, I guess we've had a year and a half. We should have evaluated making the mask so he could see out of it better. But we didn't even think about it because it's the same mask in both movies. We only have one of actual mask that we use.
Yeah. I learned with acting, you don't really need all of your eyeballs. You can get like 10% of your eyeball in there. You can pull it off.
Yeah. And you did, Jed.
Right, you did.
Thank you, guys.
Matt, I don't know if you can really answer this, but Madison here in the chat says, in the ending, what happened to Pretty Boy's face when he's unmasked? I think.
I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah. We'll find out in Pretty Boy.
You will find out in Pretty Boy.
Oh yeah.
Blind was very much our kind of first act to introduce the characters in a long form way, but we really got more of Sarah's story. In Pretty Boy, we're going to fill in the blanks for for Jed, for Pretty Boy. So your question will be answered.
Good.
Yes.
AJ wants to know, can we expect more films derived from Marcel's dreams?
Oh,
Better not, but some maybe yes.
I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, there's Joe and I, we have a lot of ideas, and we already have some scripts together, and let's say we are covered for the next 2 years for sure.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully, if everything works out with the world.
Yeah.
If the world's still here.
That's a big if.
Trista, you have another question?
So, Joe, I know that you and Sarah met on a film, and I'm wondering how often you get to collaborate together and how many films you've worked on together.
Yes, I killed her in the first movie she ever did. It was a short called Your Next 3 Pajama Party Massacre. I cut her head off in it and then beat her
in the
friend
film, not
in real life. I tried, but
right. She recovered.
Yeah, she wasn't allowing head back then, but she grew into it. And we did after that 2 more films together. We were friends for a couple of years. I kind of, like the first movie, they wanted her to be topless, and I said, listen, I just had met her. I said, don't do it, because if that's all you're going to get now if you do it right away. But by the time we did Terror Overload, which was like her 8th movie, I said, okay, now you can pop them out. It's okay. It's okay. Which is how I knew she liked me, because the topless scene, she made everybody clear set but me, and I had to handle the ice cubes for her to make sure she was ready for that shot, because it was warm out and we needed them to be ready. And I kind of knew I think she likes me a little bit. Jed saw, when he first met us, we were just friends, but I could tell she wanted a piece of the Knetter pie. I could tell. And I wasn't ready that weekend to serve it to her, but I let her nibble the edge a little bit, but it was a ways later. But we did those early movies in Minnesota, which are not good movies. They're like all the movies you start out with. You're having fun. You're kind of working your way through it. You have a lot of memories tied to them, so you appreciate the experience more than maybe people watching the movie. After that, Blind is the first movie we've worked together on again. It had been 10 years, 10 years of her doing her thing, me doing my thing, and it just so happened that it all aligned on that one. And then after that, I wrote another movie for her, and another movie for her. So there's much more, French and Knetter coming, mostly coming from my side, not her side. But, that's not my fault. I try as hard as I can, I come every time. I don't know.
Way to go, I guess. Marcel, how did you get involved with Joe and Sarah?
The first time we met was on a Thanksgiving event from Alyssa Darling. She's doing that event, I think, every year. And I met Alyssa on the first Blood Feast screening in 2017. And she invited me to her Thanksgiving, which was super nice of her. And that was the time when I met Sarah and Joe at the Thanksgiving. And after that, they figured out I'm new in LA, and I hadn't really much friends. So they asked me, "Hey, Marcel, you want to come over for Taco Tuesday?" And that's how all started.
Well, very cool. The first time I talked to you was for Blood Feast.
Yeah,
and I think you were still in Germany at the time.
A long time ago. I was in Germany at that time. Yeah.
Yeah. So was it right after Blood Feast you decided to come to the States?
It was already after Blood Feast came out or it was screened in the UK at the Fright Fest. In this year, we, my husband and I, we trying to figure out how we can do it with the visa and everything. And then, it was 2017 when we moved here.
Yeah. I assume that's got to be a big decision for anyone moving to LA, but especially from another country.
It was a rough time. It was crazy with all the paperwork and the interviews and this and that. It was crazy, and it was. But here's the thing: when as a filmmaker, when you start filmmaking in the other country, like me in Germany, I started with the super low budget movies, and then at the certain point, then you're with Blood Feast there, I figured out, okay, I'm on a level that I can't grow anymore there, or I can't get, because it's super hard in Germany to get money or a good budget for horror movies, because they're more into drama and comedy and all that kind of stuff. And the goal was from the beginning on it was one day I want to be there in LA, in Hollywood, and making movies. I mean, that's the dream probably for every filmmaker. So but it wasn't, I think I see it like that. There was never the right time. Maybe I was too young or whatever. And I think the time when we moved, it was a perfect timing for me. To be here and to start it here from the beginning. I mean, you have to start from the beginning again. So it's nobody knows you. You're new here. Nobody cares if you're here or not, because there's in the next two blocks there's a new other guy who could do the same thing like you could do, and nobody cares. So it's very hard here, but it's you have more opportunities to do something.
Yeah, and I noticed that a lot of you guys, there's like a crowd that you guys work with. Tyler's in some of your guys' stuff.
Yeah.
Tyler Galano is also in Blind, and Caroline Williams is in a few things in Blood Feast and stuff. So I assume when you meet people you like to work with, it's good to stick together and collaborate.
Oh, absolutely. And there's it's always teamwork, and it's always supporting each other. And when you have something for someone, you think, oh, that would be perfect. Why you should cast someone else when you know someone and he's good for that part? Support your friend or give him a chance to do something, be a part of something. Sometimes it works, sometimes not, and you're trying to do the best out of it.
Yeah, I mean, we really go by vibe. We like to look at making movies as getting to play together, and we never lose sight of that it's ridiculous we get to do any of this. And so we like to play. We like to get together and hang out. We do a lot of, positivity hikes where we'll go up and kind of hold hands and talk about the world, and definitely not a cult.
We really do that, by the way.
We do.
I call it positivity.
Yeah. we did
hold hands. We did hold hands.
I mean, Trista knows, she lives here, that you get so into the grind that you forget the whole world's out there. So to get away into nature a little bit and just kind of take deep breaths, and plus the big one we go to is Franklin Canyon, which was the kill scenes from Friday 4. American Horror Story 1984 was shot there, and it was the RV park from Friday 13th Part 5. So we go up there and look down at that lake, and it's just history, and the horror nerds in us, we just love that. And we believe in just being good people, treating people with respect, and working with good people. Like Tyler's great. We love Tyler. Tyler's just a good guy.
Yeah.
And he was very challenged for Blind too, because he couldn't talk. He had to do everything based on looks, and he did a fantastic job.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I should ask him to come on. I haven't him on. He's been on the show before. He's a really nice guy. He's good in the movie. How about Caroline Williams? How did she get involved in Blind?
She was a part of the Taco Tuesday group at that time. So she came every week, and that was the we asked her, hey, we have something for you. You want to be a part of that? And she agreed. That's easy story.
Yeah. So you mentioned a couple times the festival run. Did you get to go to any of the festivals and watch it with people, or what did it play during the COVID? How did that work?
No, it was before COVID. So we went to some, but not to all of them, because some of them overseas and here and that. Yeah. But we went to the Twin Cities Film Festival, which was a good one, a very big one, a great one. It was great to be there. Chad was there, Joe and Sarah, and Ben Kaplan. He played the sushi boy in the movie. He's by the way, he's great to work with. Also, I love him. He's such a good guy and a very good actor. And he joined us for that festival as well. It was great. And it was Joe and Sarah's hometown, right?
Well, the home state of Minnesota. Twin City Film Fest. It's a big festival. They play a lot of Oscar-winning movies. Not generally a horror fest, but us getting in there was cool for us because we got to go home, because there's always that resentment. Like, LA's tough. There's different groups of people and they all hate on each other, and it's like a junior high lunchroom. But you have that everywhere. Even in Minnesota, there were groups that hated Sarah, they hated me, and they said, oh, they're going to move to LA, good luck, they're never going to do anything. So it was nice to go back and just show people that, listen, we've worked hard, and it takes a long time, but you just keep working at it, you don't give up. And it was cool. Plus they had free drinks. all the drinking we wanted to do for free was nice. And it's always nice to get back to Minnesota. And then of course it burned down like 2 months later, 3 months later, or whatever, with the riots. But we went to a handful of festivals, and it's always cool to see with an audience, because you just never know the reaction you're going to get. Which is why I'm so excited about the next one, because there's, a lot more comedy, a lot more gore, and just, I think laugh out loud moments. So it's going to be fun to see with the crowd.
And with some drinks too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because movies, that's what it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be in theaters watching movies and having fun, and I miss it. I miss being able to just go load up on popcorn. And I just figured out and learned online that the straw trick, when you butter your popcorn, how you use a straw so you can jam it on the nozzle and get the butter on every layer and move it around. I saw that online. You can get the butter on every layer, and then then they close down theaters.
Wow. I have a similar story in a way. It's not about butter, but I had diverticulitis years ago, and one of the things was I was supposed to eat popcorn ever again. And then I read online, someone had told me that that's really a myth, and Trista had told me that later on too. And so I researched this, and everyone did really say, like, the new doctor says it's a myth, you can eat popcorn. And so I started to eat popcorn again in February because I got free popcorn for my birthday. And then like a month later, everything's closed. Yeah. So I only got to have movie theater popcorn for like 2 weeks.
And there's no comparison. Movie theater popcorn, it's the best.
Yeah, it's the best. And I didn't even know this trick with the. I thought you were going to say the hole in the bottom of the popcorn trick.
Oh no, I don't.
Different trick.
Because I want to eat the popcorn. I don't want to waste it on my Johnson. I want to eat that. I'm not going to nibble around my own Peppy.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we're into different things.
Yeah.
Let's see. Ashley says about you and Sarah, love is rooted in horror is the best and most long-lasting kind. Love at first fright.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Sarah and I have a lot of fun together. We've been together like 11 years. I mean, it's crazy. And obviously, I've seen her grow so much as an artist. Like Faye, to me, it was a little bit, that was my love letter to her, to let her really run with something like a little heavier. And I thought she nailed it. I mean, that monologue at the end, it's 6.5 minutes. It's a long monologue, but we did 3 takes, and every take was straight through, all the way through. And like, that's one thing I like about Marcel's style, is he likes to play the scenes all the way through. And like even in Pretty Boy, we have shots that go for 7 minutes. They'll be cutting and editing within the edit, but it allows the actor to get so into the character and so into the beats and feeling it. But you need really, really strong actors to be able to do that don't need that break every so often. So
my face was really sweating under that mask.
Yeah. And that's the thing I said to Jen after filming the scene in particular. I said, I understand it's hard to even sit for 6.5 minutes next to someone. Everything in your body wants to start twitching and shaking. And you see it whenever you work background, because I used to work background, and people just walking from A to B. People forget how to fucking walk when a camera's on there. The arms are swinging and they're being weird. So I can appreciate what Jed did, because I can't act. Yeah. I'm a terrible actor. And
you were good as the Hana killer.
Well, I mean, I can kill people and I can be an asshole, but I can't, I'm just not an actor. I know where I belong. which, you know, probably jail, let's be honest. But until they come for me, I guess I'll keep making movies with these talented people and getting to talk to you guys. And now you see why there's so many fucking monologues in what I write, because it's how I think. Would you like paper or plastic? Well, I don't know. When I was 6 years old, I had a
so many monologues, Joe, but I couldn't get one little bitty one. I couldn't get one.
No. I'm saving yours, Jed. I'm saving
movie.
yours. Yeah, for the third movie.
All right.
But
I'll hold you to that.
It always gives you something to look forward to that way.
Of course.
Exactly.
Let me keep you going.
Yeah. Trista, you have another question?
I do, yeah. Obviously, Sarah's not with us, as we've mentioned, but we're fans of hers. And so I'm wondering, Joe, if you could clue us in a little on how she went about preparing to play a blind woman.
Okay. Obviously, that's a challenge. We have a friend named Kevin, who's actually in the movie. He's Caroline's husband in the movie. You see him in bed and in the blind group scene. He actually went blind a couple years ago, unfortunately. So he came to a party we had on New Year's that year at Marcel's house, which was probably the catalyst for the dream about a blind person. Was somehow that stuck in his head. So so what Marcel, Caroline, and Sarah went and spent a day with him at his apartment to kind of see how he moves in his own environment, how he deals with life, having been someone that's recently gone blind. And that let them kind of get in the headspace of how they move, how he acts, for the actors. And I think it was great for Marcel too, because he could see kind of the flow and the movement with that. Beyond that, listen, we had to move so quick on this thing that in the 10 days I wrote blind, I wrote 2 other features. It was a total of 3 features in 10 days because I was way overcommitted. And Sarah actually got the last act as she was flying to Pennsylvania to be in the movie The Special, which is a cool movie. You should check that one out too if you haven't. So she had to learn that whole movie while she was working on another movie. And the day she flew back from that movie, we started shooting the next day. So there was no time. My advice to her with it was, don't watch other people acting blind. Create the character, get the dialogue down, get all that, and then start adapting, later. But don't try to copy what anybody's done. And she nailed it. I mean, she played it great. Blind people aren't all looking all over everywhere, and they don't do that. They do it in movies, but they don't do it in real life. So, that was Marcel's idea to go with Caroline and Sarah to see Kevin, and it was great. It allowed them to really experience it because we wanted to treat everything with respect as well.
Yeah. And even for me, it was very interesting to see Kevin, his normal day, what he's doing and how he's doing everything. It was a weird situation. We went with him out to go to a store to buy some stuff for him. And he told us it was very windy 2 days ago. And he said he couldn't go out, and because he couldn't go or cross the street because the wind makes something, so he can't hear the cars or feel something with the cars. And that was so interesting to hear, because that if it's too windy outside, he can't go out. And that kind of got me a little bit. And it was, wow, that so he has to be at home for the whole day. It was actually the last 2 weeks ago. It was so super windy outside for a couple of days. And it reminded me on that day when we spent the day with Kevin. And I thought, well, now he can go out for a week because it's so windy and he can't figure it out where he is and everything. That was very, very interesting to hear.
Yeah, it's the sound thing, and then also the wind can push you slightly, so he can't follow the same patterns he's used to. And like the thing with Kevin too is, like, for me, we wanted to really focus on like the scene where she's getting something out of the fridge. It's a long scene, but we wanted that because we want people to realize how long. I mean, I see, and I stand in front of my fridge for 10 minutes. Imagine not seeing. You have to touch everything and try to figure it out. And one of the most heartbreaking things for me was, like, Kevin and we do it in the movie, people that go blind through their life still dream in full color. So they wake up every day to darkness, which to me that's the heartbreaking thing to deal with every day, is to have these dream moments and then wake up to the dark. I mean, it's we wanted to be respectful, and which is why we had to have him in the movie. So I think, Sarah just played it very well. She learned the movements because she's also dealing with multiple things. She's clearly in the movie depressed. Her life is over in her mind. She's drinking through the whole movie. We didn't want to go, hey, alcoholic, but she's always drinking. She's clinically depressed. And if you notice, the only two people she's spending time with are people she's met since she went blind in the blind group, because that's Hollywood. The minute she was no longer good to anybody, they're gone. They're gone. And I had that with my last spinal surgery a few years back, where once I couldn't, I spent almost a year where I couldn't walk without a walker and stuff like that. Everybody does this. And it's not, I don't think because everybody's an asshole, but it's all of us that work in the arts, we see how close it is to losing everything. You can have a physical thing happen, a mental thing happen, and that just, your career is fucked, and you don't want that to happen. So she was juggling a lot of stuff with it, and I'm just very proud of her. I'm proud of everybody that worked on it. I'm proud of Marcel. I'm proud of Jed.
For my character, they just said, Jed, you just keep on being creepy and weird. Okay.
Yes.
I was going to ask if you went and hung out with any creeps or anything.
Yeah, he did spend a week with Ron Jeremy, but no, I'm just.
I did not. I did not spend a week with him.
No. Nobody can spend a week with him.
By the way, how are you doing physically, Joe?
I currently have an MCL tear in my right knee. I need both my hips replaced, and my back is not the best right now. But I'm alive. I'm breathing. I can move around. We just shot a movie. So life's good. Life's good. Edibles help. I'm not on edibles because of any reason other than, they help medically, of course.
Yeah, honestly, that's when I started taking them. So.
Yeah, it does help. It doesn't take the pain away, but it makes you care not quite as much. So, but I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm alive. I have a grandbaby now. I think I showed you a picture, Trista, when we had we signed those books. It's crazy. It's crazy to have a grandbaby.
Yeah, we were so surprised. No one would ever think that you have a grandbaby.
Oh.
I know. I was a single dad at 19, so I raised 3 girls. So and I was married, of course. My wife Nicole at the time helped, a great deal. She was a good woman, and but I've always had, I was a father at a young age. My mom was a mother at a young age, so it's just kind of, I guess it's just in our blood to fuck. I think if we're gonna break it down, so it makes it makes sense that my daughter Megan, who's doing a fantastic job as a mom, it's hard being a mom, and I haven't been able to see Elijah yet because of the world being the way it is, and you want to do it safely, and was hoping in December to make a visit, but now it's gone to shit everywhere, with Minnesota being one of the worst. So I have to keep things safe. But looking at it in a positive side, which is what we focus on, this happened at this kind of quarantine is the best time for all of us because we have this. We can see and talk to people. I mean, I remember as a kid, you'd see movies where, oh my God, they can see pictures and talk through video. That's Star Trek shit. And it just, all of a sudden we have it and it never seemed like a big deal. Like this doesn't seem like a big deal. It just seems like how it's always been. But that's edible number 3, just kind of me through.
I was gonna say I had you on though earlier in the year, and we were still just doing audio. We started doing the video show because of COVID, honestly, because of the pandemic, and I didn't even know of Zoom before.
And it's great because of this angle. I can wear a shirt, nothing else. You can't even tell.
I'm totally with you. So. AJ says Pretty Boy Mask is on my list of masks to get. Simple but creepy.
See what happens when you promote the movie?
Exactly.
You already get sales.
Yeah. Now, is that the actual mask we're in the movie, or is that the mask people can buy?
No, the actual mask in the movie, I think, is probably in some vault somewhere, right, Marcel?
Yes.
Under lock.
I don't know. I hope so. Yeah.
Under lock and key, right?
Yeah.
That's the trick or treat mask, which was great
because it still looks really good though.
Yeah, no, they got the original and they made it based on the original, and like even that was something where you can tell them, Marcel, when you went to Monsterpalooza.
Yeah, so here's that's I have a list in my head, so with goals, and that was a goal for me to get one day to create something, and then we'll get a mask and a costume and everything, and it was Monsterpalooza 2019. No, yeah.
19, yes, 19.
Yeah, and we went there, and we knew that Trick-or-Treat Studios have they have a stand there, and it's I went there with my producer and Sarah and Joe and everyone. So we stopped by and we showed them on the iPads some pictures of Pretty Boy and the trailer we had at this point. And Chris he held the iPad and saw the mask and everything, and then he went back to his colleagues and then look at that, guys, look at that, that's a creepy fucking mask. So, and that was me. Okay, I think that's a good sign. Yeah. And he said, yeah, please send me everything and we will go through through the stuff. And then a month later, I was able to send him the movie and everything, and he said, yep, we will do it. And it was for me like, oh. And yeah, that's how it happened.
Yeah. What's that like for you, Jed?
It sounds pretty simple.
I never thought like a piece of plastic could validate my entire career and existence, but this is what
it sounds pretty simple.
Piece of plastic this validated the whole thing.
Well, it's not on screen right now.
Here's the thing: it sounds pretty simple to go to your favorite company who's doing all the Michael Myers, the Freddy Kruegers, and they're doing everything. So it sounds pretty simple. You go there and they say yes, but here's the thing: you have to. Some people, they don't even try because they think, I have such a small movie and nobody cares probably. But you have to try. That's the whole point of it. You have to try. You have to do chances. You have to take chances in everything, and that's the only thing you can create or you can make something here. That's the only way, and that's how Blind happened. We thought, well, fuck it. Let's try it. Let's do it. Let's shoot the movie. And that's the same thing with all the merchandise. After we got the deal with Trick-or-Treat Studios, I was saying, well, we should try fucking everything. So I got in contact with all those with all the merchandise dealers with for shirts, for shorts, for wrapping paper, for gift cards, everything, and they loved the movie, and they said, yeah, because of the look of Pretty Boy. He said, yeah, that's let's do it.
Yeah.
That's because it's so subtly creepy, I think. I think the mask and stuff, it's just...
Yeah, there's something disturbing about it.
Yeah, it's not like over the top creepy.
For me, I think it's the eyes, because sometimes in the movie you see him sitting there, and you see all those white and blue poppy eyes. It's so weird, and even in part 2 we have so many scenes. It was, for me, and I think I speak for Joe, felt the same thing. For me, it was so weird to see him with an axe, with a machete, with everything, and it was so weird to see him with all those fucking kill things, and he's killing people so bloody, and that was so weird, but it looked so great, sexy, kind of. It was perfect for him.
It was right. It was the right time to kind of do that.
And always in all the dark scenes, and when we have the pink lights, his eyes are so popping out of every single scene, and I think that's what's making it so even more creepier.
Yeah, it's definitely, for me, it's the eyes, because they're flat, but you just see life there. Yeah, and a lot of I think a lot of what adds to that too is Jed with his movements, because
100%,
he knows how to open the camera and how to sway into a scene. He's great at that. So it's I mean, it's almost
not just a guy. It's not just a guy under a mask. It's an actor, and you can't put anyone under the mask. there's no chance.
I'm starting to blush so much I might have to put the mask back on again.
No, the thing is, there's so much life in and there's a real character behind Pretty Boy, especially in part 2, because there's more background story in everything. So it's Chad is filling it with so much love and everything. It's weird to tell.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see. And it may seem like to some people listening going, oh, look at them just sitting there jacking each other off. No, we're just friends that are happy we got to make something. And in 2020, you have to promote your own shit anymore. Yeah. Distro companies aren't going to do it. You have to get out there and create your path. And I've been lucky enough to have been joined on this path by some very talented people that I'm blessed to be able to call my friends. And that's the best case scenario in this industry, because so often you don't have real friends. You have industry friends.
And positivity hikes work.
They work.
I'm a believer. Yeah. When are we going to the next one?
Well, we have to kidnap another homeless person in order to sacrifice, and if they're cleaning Venice Beach, like I heard, that might be easy because they're going to be scattering. But no, it's. Listen, we did. The day before we shot, we went back up to the Franklin Canyon Reservoir to hold hands and just talk about, what we hope to accomplish. And we never asked for anything other than just paths.
Yeah.
Give us an opportunity and we're going to work as hard as we can, because we work very hard. Even Pretty Boy, we had a very limited crew. Michael Sue and his team shot it. And he's fantastic. Those guys are amazingly brilliant.
Guys, him and his whole crew, they're fantastic. It's they're everything I asked for, I got, and there's no questioning, no nothing. They just made such a great job. He has such a good eye for a wonderful, beautiful pictures and everything. He's really great, and I can't wait to.
Thomas Chris was a pretty, like you were talking about how it was shot, is pretty hard act to follow. But Michael Sue and his team, boy, what they did, just unbelievable.
Yeah, our DP Thomas Riss in the first one, he shot it, he pulled focus, he lit it, he dumped footage. He was a one man. He did everything for that movie, because of the budget constraints we're in, and we had to bring in people that we could just trust. And while we have a bigger budget on the next one, it looks even bigger than it is again. So I'm very, very proud of it. And, the first movie had a lot of blues because it dealt with sadness and depression. And we Marcel picked the red spectrum for this one because we're dealing a little bit more with love and anger in this one. So it's Marcel's
the red turned into a pink.
Yeah,
but it's the same thing.
I was going to say reddish pink.
The blood's red.
Well, yeah.
there is that, but we did get a lot of pink in there. But it's cool. I mean, it's a movie. It's a different looking movie than anything that's really out there, and I can't wait for you guys to see it. I'm sure you guys all saw Blind, and I'm sure there's varying opinions of it, which I totally get. And we made that movie, and we'll always stand with that movie because it was the movie we wanted to make. It was a movie in that time frame and budget that we feel we pulled off very well. The audience never knows what you actually put into the movie and what the constraints are. And like, we've got a ton of shit from people, mainly overseas, because we didn't cast a blind girl as the lead. And that generally never happens in any movie, let alone one you're making with your friends in 5 weeks. So it's a bummer to hear a lot of negativity towards that, because we feel we treated it well, and we actually did have one of our friends who was blind in the movie. But we're happy we get to talk about it. I mean, it's not often you get to be talking about a movie that you made on that budget that way. So for us, it's just beautiful to connect with people in this world who are now all staring at me wondering, when is he going to stop speaking? And I will continue.
As someone who's done the podcast for 15 years, it's much worse if it's reverse.
Yeah.
And you ask a question and they say, "Yep."
Well, and I've done a lot of interviews and podcasts and stuff over the years too. And the thing is, it's dead air. So the minute I stop talking, if somebody doesn't say something, I feel like I have to jump in. Even Marcel, because since Marcel is English is his second language,
right. When
a question goes to him, it takes a second for him to formulate the response. And I keep holding myself in going, don't jump in. Don't jump in.
Well,
right, Marcel?
Along those lines.
Yeah.
Marcel, you mentioned earlier, like when you came to the States, you're saying like everyone like down the street from you is also a director and that kind of thing. Do you think being from another country, you have anything that people might not have here? Like you have a different vision or a different technique or a different style in the way you make a movie?
So I think everyone has his own style, or everyone should have his own style. That's because that's what makes you special, or that's why people want you to direct, or that's why this and that. So everyone should have his own style. I think that well, it's hard to say that everyone brings something special, but everyone should bring something special. That's I would say that, yeah.
Jed, what other roles have you been in? What other do you primarily work in horror movies?
My biggest movie is The Ghastly Love of Johnny X. I don't know if you heard of that. It's a sci-fi musical.
I love the name.
With Creed Bratton from The Office.
Oh, okay.
That's the only other movie you really need to know about.
What about The Amazing Bulk?
I just found out there were T-shirts about that movie.
Oh, wow.
Oh, really? You need to get one of those as well. Yeah.
Yeah, well. But, that Johnny X, and I've done a lot of horror movies and, disaster movies. I was going through the list. I was in Eruption LA, which was Trista with Sean Kane.
Yeah, when you said the name, I thought it might be Sean Kane.
Yeah, which I've
Sean's
seen.
a good friend of mine. Yeah.
You're in Jurassic City.
Oh yeah. Well, Sean's a friend of mine, so I've had small roles in some of his.
Yeah, I thought that was maybe his best movie. So.
Oh yeah, Sean's a great guy. We're excited to have him on the show again sometime.
Yeah,
I don't know if you guys know him, but he's a great guy.
Yep.
Yeah, I had him on the show before Trista was involved in the show.
Oh, okay.
But
Sean's awesome.
Yeah, great director, great guy.
Yep.
Yeah. So where can you get all the cool blind merchandise?
And there was Jed talking about his career. Well, let's see here. I'm going to give you 2 movies out of the 120.
I've mentioned some a few times on the show. Last year at a festival, I hosted and was part of a panel on edibles, and I never posted the video because I found it embarrassing. So tonight, you guys can decide if I made the right choice.
Yeah. No. So about that merchandise.
Right.
Good old pretty boy.
Yeah, where can you get the blind merchandise?
So, I mean, you can get the
like this.
Massacre. You get it at Party Cities.
And Jed's, but you can go buy them somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, the mask and the costume you will get at the Party Cities, and of course on the website from Treacherous Studios and some other costume websites or whatever, and the gift cards and the wrapping paper is, what's the name again, Joe? That's Joe. Oh no!
I almost thought maybe his computer froze, but he may have froze himself.
I'm not sure which it is, to be honest with you.
I was just trying to freeze until somebody looked up the correct answer, because I believe it's Ghost Girl Designs.
Yes, it's Ghost Girl. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
Oh.
Yeah, they're very great. Both are. It's I love I love what they did with the wrapping paper. It was so funny to see that Pretty Boy's face on a wrapping paper and the Valentine's gift cards. It's great.
Yeah,
yeah, and then you get the shirts from Graveyard Classics. The shirt who's from what Chad is wearing right now, Graveyard Classics, and
I got shirts of me everywhere. Shirts from different movies everywhere. I got shirts everywhere.
Yep.
Good. And Helen Hurts also one who's releasing some soon. Yeah. So there's
the good thing about the merch deals is we've got some with the bigger companies, but like Ghost Girl Designs is from a lady I met on the East Coast in conventions years and years ago, that she has a company with her friend. And we also love being able to support the indie side of that too, where they're more of a mom and pop company, but they had great ideas with the wrapping paper, the mugs, the greeting cards, and we're like, fuck yeah, why not? And of course the movies everywhere, Amazon, iTunes. I saw somebody post today, they got their DVD. It's the first DVD I've seen that got shipped. There was a delay in DVDs coming. So the movie's everywhere. Rent it, buy it.
Yeah.
Tell people about it.
Definitely. Yeah.
Support us so we can make a part 2. Oh, never mind. We made part 2.
Part 3 and beyond.
Once you get to 3rd, then you can call it a franchise.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Then
maybe it's a trilogy. Then I don't know.
I could run the convention circuit, selling autographs for, the rest of my days.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep. It's they like the killers, Jed. I won't make any money. Nobody gives a shit about the writer, but you'll get those 8x10s. And I'm glad to have a hand in getting you that, because it's been a journey. It's been a journey, Yeah. And you'll see Pretty Boy by the end of next year, because we can't say the company, but we pre-sold it prior to filming.
Oh wow.
So it's already got distro lined up for next year. So we're excited.
AJ wants to know, is there any plans for Pretty Boy to have a pretty child?
Oh,
we talked about a pretty girl.
Pretty girl. All right.
But
that's funny. This is news to me. I want to hear this.
Yeah. So we talked about a pretty girl, but it's now after the sequel, after the second one, we want to focus on Pretty Boy more. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's
when we were throwing ideas around, it was a trilogy of Pretty Boy, and then if we were lucky enough, maybe a trilogy of a Pretty Girl. But you never know, man. I mean, it's ridiculous. We're doing all of this right now with the movie we all pitched in and pulled out of our asses. So it's
I think it's a good idea to have it all be Pretty Boy, actually. So
yeah,
the original,
just all the film.
Jed, it's 2020. You can be Pretty Girl now. It's okay.
Wow.
Yeah, you'll always be. Do you have another question, Trista? Sorry. There's a guy in here that just keeps say his name. I don't know if you know him. So if you know him, cool. If not, I just wasted time. But Tyrone Interrogi. If anyone knows him, cool. If not, I don't know why he wanted me to say his name.
I don't know Tyrone.
All right, well.
But hello, Tyrone.
Hello, Tyrone. Yeah.
Hello.
Right.
We do now.
Yeah,
hello, Tyrone.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Trista, for total nonsense. But...
Don't smile. Right. Hi, Tyrone.
Made his day, yeah.
I'd love to know all of your guys' favorite horror movies.
Well, that's a very, very good question, because me and Joe's favorite horror movie.
We might be all night.
We have the same favorite horror movie.
Oh,
Joe?
Really?
Yeah. Joe? We do. My favorite, is along with Jed's favorite horror movie, is Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. It is not what I consider the greatest horror movie of all time. I consider the original Chainsaw to be the best horror movie. But Part 2 is a special movie for me because of my age and growing up in the 80s and seeing it. And it's always been my favorite for just the fun. Yeah, see? Neal knows.
I knew ahead of time.
Neal knows. That should be another podcast. Neal knows. And that's actually how we brought Caroline into the Taco Tuesday. Was Jed was the first person we ever brought. It was me, Sarah, and Jed. And I knew that was his favorite movie. And I went to Sarah, I said, you know what, let's not tell him, but bring Caroline next week. He'll lose it. He'll go ape shit. And that was how she got brought into the fold. And then, of course,
I almost choked on my tacos that
day. And then, Marcel had worked with her prior to, so it all was kind of this happy moment in time. And so that's Jed and my favorite horror movie. If I could continue, I would like to give you the top 83. It starts with.
Get them in chronological order, please.
Yeah. I'm OCD, so it has to be. All right.
I'm also OCD, actually.
You're also what?
I have OCD as well.
I'm OCD. And Marcel's husband is OCD very much.
Oh yeah.
A lot of artists, I think. I won't mention right now because it's not my place, but other filmmakers I know that you guys know also struggle with it. Yeah, I think it's funny.
I think it's what allows us to a certain extent to accomplish sometimes what we do, because we're focused. Like for me, if I can steer my OCD into like a writing project, I can just fly through it and it goes great. But on days when it's not steered towards that, it's a little more difficult.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I can relate to that for sure.
Okay.
I don't, right. And I think that's might be why have no artistic ability and I'm very unaccomplished.
Yep.
I'm sorry to be an idiot. Marcel, what was your favorite? Trista's question. Your favorite horror movie or movies?
I mean, my favorite horror movie of all time is probably Scream, because that's the movie I grew up, and that's after seeing that movie, I decided after that movie, I want to make movies. So that's after that one. So it's but probably the best thing for me is it's not a movie, it's a show. It's American Horror Story Hotel. That's probably the best. Nice. That's my that time when I saw it the first time, I watched it and I was sitting on my couch crying, and Dominic turned over. Marcel, why are you crying? What's wrong? And I said, it's perfect. There's nothing in it. I mean, there's story-wise some problems here and there, but all the visuals and everything, it's perfect. That's all what I want to do, and what if I would have that kind of money, probably would look like like American Horror Story Hotel. That's my totally holy grail.
What was it about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 that's your favorite? Well, why is it?
Well, for me personally, I have always liked the theater of the absurd. And so I love absurdity. So that movie was so completely ridiculous and absurd and over the top, and it was so funny and crazy, and it just, the characters in it, they just had so much fun. And so it to me, it's just the absurdity of it makes it my favorite.
For me, it was the time I was 10 years old when that movie first was starting to come out, and I saw pictures in Fangoria magazine. I was very excited because I was lucky enough to grow up with my Uncle Mike and my grandma, who in the trailer, that's for Marcel, he hates hearing these stories, that let me just watch any movie I wanted. Like my Uncle Mike took me to see Friday 13th Floor at the drive-in when I was 8 years old. I saw Creepshow when I was 6. So I was a huge horror fan even at that age. And I remember cutting the pictures out of Fangoria and taping them to my wall. And I knew this was it. This Chainsaw 2 was going to be the greatest movie of all time. And I remember I was playing with my Star Wars action figures, and behind me on the little TV, I heard a trailer start, and I immediately put 2 and 2 together that's what it was. So I quickly turned and I watched the whole trailer, and I was so excited. And with that's it. That's the greatest movie ever. But I missed the beginning because I was battling Jawas. So I sat there all day waiting for it to play again, and it finally did. And I saw the opening where it says nobody under the age of, I think it was 17 or 18 will be allowed in the theater. And as a 10-year-old kid, I was crushed. I thought that meant, okay, that's like a porno movie. I won't get to see that till I'm 17 or 18. It's over for me. I probably cried. I got all depressed, and that was it. The movie I'd been waiting so long for, I was gonna have to wait forever. Because I grew up in Minnesota, there weren't necessarily places to rent porn. And although my Uncle Mike was pretty cool, I didn't, expect him to go to a porn place to get me something to watch. So I remember one day we were at a Cub Foods, which is a grocery store in Minnesota. And back then, I don't know the ages of everybody here, but videos were rented everywhere, gas stations, grocery stores, everywhere. And I remember we were in there for our weekly horror, movies, and I saw it on the shelf and picked it up, and it was my 10-year-old little heart just melted. And in watching it, it was very different than the first movie, but it was fun. It was gory. It was a little bit ridiculous, and I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with it. And it was a movie I always go back to. So obviously getting an opportunity to have, Caroline being blind in Christmas light covered hallways, was a moment for me, and it was a moment for Jed.
Yeah.
And, for me, movies we can argue about what's the best movie, but there's really never an argument over what your favorite movie is, because it's all personal. It's all moments and what it meant to you at the time. So yeah, if you haven't figured out yet, you're never going to get a short answer with me, because of the way my mind works. I am on the spectrum. I'm high functioning on the spectrum. So I tend to weave my way through conversations in a certain kind of ebb and flow. So there it is. I think it really started when I was 6. I was walking down the street.
Well, I mean, along those lines, I mean, you mentioned Creep Show. I have it here, the first VHS tape my mom ever bought me, and that's it right there. So
that's great.
That's always on my top favorites. I love the movie, but also just, the memory.
Yeah, you and Joe lived the same childhood, I think.
Yeah, I actually think we're the exact
awesome.
same age,
Yeah.
I think. But,
I think we did.
Okay, that makes sense.
Except I gained some of the weight back. You held off pretty well.
So I've gained another little brother, so this is good.
Oh yeah, no, that's why movies are so important, especially at a time like this. You need the entertainment to just take you away for a little bit. We've all been in bad moods or had horrible things go on where you get escape for a little bit. And the fact that we get to do this, whether it's in film, and I know, Neal, you've been in a movie now and a couple, and the podcast, and Trista, you've obviously done a lot of great stuff. We loved Echoes of Fear. We watched that. That was great. Whether it's podcasts, it's making movies, we have the ability to just make somebody's day a little bit better. And I don't think that's ego speaking. It's just from experience. It can happen. And we need that. Especially now, we need that.
Honestly, that's a big part of doing the show. Like, I have fun doing it. We all have fun doing it, but knowing that, it's giving people even a couple hours, especially right now. Look, what did Troy draw here? Hold on, let me, I will.
Oh, nasty Neal.
Oh, it's a stocking. Oh, it's nasty.
I love it.
Working on Trista's now, but Treacherous has got a lot more letters.
Ooh, I got fingers in mine.
Yeah, you got a job.
Ooh, I was good this year.
You were good this year, yeah.
See, but that's what I'm talking about. That's creativity. We need that outlet and that little, whatever we can do to just say, listen, the world can be shit, but for these moments, we're okay.
Yeah.
It's okay.
True.
AJ here says, amen. Movies are healing. My son and I bonded over films.
Yeah.
And he's having some health problems right now.
Oh.
Shout out to AJ. He's a good guy.
Well, AJ, just keep positive and
positive.
Let horror heal you, because it can.
Very good. So you mentioned Blind. You can get it everywhere. Amazon, wherever you get VOD.
Marcel, why don't you talk for a little bit this time? I'll back off.
Yeah, I mean, you get it everywhere. It was sold out at Best Buy and Walmart for a couple of while, but I think they're getting back to the DVDs. You will get it on Amazon or iTunes, Vudu. Actually, it's everywhere on VOD.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah.
And is there a social media or website people can go and see what's going on with Pretty Boy in the future?
I mean,
of Blind?
for the US, there is the Uncorked Instagram page. They post every day something, some scenes, some trailer pictures, whatever. Or on Sarah's page, my page, there's we will have every day some news about Blind or something.
And Pretty Boy.
And Pretty Boy.
Yeah, I'm always posting on my Instagram, actor Jed Rowen.
Yeah,
Rowen on Facebook, always posting about that movie.
And I hate social media. I hate it.
Bill.
I'm just being honest.
Uh-huh.
I hate it. I like Instagram because I like pictures, but I can't do Twitter because I can't get enough words in. It's not even worth it for me.
I'm not a fan of the Twitter either. I can even call it the Twitter.
Yeah,
I'm an old man, but
right.
I don't know. But
I'm not
you have to have it on some level today to just throw everything I do out there. People have to see it.
That's why I keep social media, but it's gotten to be where it's like it's so fucking negative. It's supposed to be just about fun and connecting with people.
Yeah.
But it just turns into such negative, bullshit. And like you guys, if you've been around me long enough to know, I used to post a lot of weird, crazy shit. Always, humorous in my mind, but nowadays everybody gets so offended over everything that it's better to for me, to just drift away, to the background.
Especially after 2020.
Yeah. This has been a year, but
I think we talked about this last time, but I do find it weird because I've toned down a lot of my humor and stuff. Is that I found it strange that so many people don't understand that when someone's joking. To me, it's like so obvious.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, someone's putting something hateful out there. You say this guy's a dick or something, but if it's something that you can just tell is just foolishness, it's very strange that people can take it so seriously.
And they should be able to, and they used to be able to, and that was the problem. Is like a lot of the shit I would say, people would understand it's not real, it's you're joking. But then some of those same people, almost overnight, all of a sudden were, oh, that's terrible. Why would you say that? Well, I'm obviously kidding, because most of my joking was always about me and Sarah, things we did together, and as long as she was comfortable with what I was joking about, that's all that should matter. But people would get so fucking bent out of shape. And so that was why it was better for me to just drift away and feed the squirrels for that year. Just to kind of.
Yeah. I actually think there's a dishonesty to some of that. I think people, not everyone, some people probably don't know, but I do think a lot of people do realize it's a joke, but for some reason want to act like they don't for some reason.
And that's the problem.
It's cooler to be negative.
Mm-hmm.
And to have issues than just laugh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a big proponent of, really what you have to do is it's all or nothing. There can't be an in between. The minute you start saying, well, you can't joke about that, then you can't joke about anything, because no matter what you say, it's going to affect somebody in some way. And again, you can be offended. I don't mind when people were offended. But you don't have to start actively trying to destroy someone.
Right.
When it's
you
obviously
you could just say, this isn't for me. I don't want to follow this guy or whatever.
100%.
Yeah.
But then I did cancel my wife, so I guess that was when I was married. So there is that, But
now you've offended me.
Yeah. Yeah. But I probably didn't offend her because they haven't found her body yet.
Is she in the blind body behind you? That would be a good place
that would be great, right? Watch it happen.
Oh yeah, you see that? I saw. Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah,
that pretty boy back there. He's taller than I am.
Welcome to Blind 3.
Very good. Well, this has been really fun. It was good to talk to everybody.
It has been.
And see everybody.
Great meeting all of you, and
thanks
a lot for bringing us on.
Yeah, we should do it again sometime.
Pretty boy.
Yep.
Joe, can you move your big head a little bit? So, there you go. Oh wait, there you go.
It is pretty sweet. Is that like looking in a mirror? What were you saying, Tris? I'm sorry.
I just said, Joe, tell Sarah we missed her. Neal, what would you say?
I will. She gets home later tonight. She was pretty bummed about it, and but you know, sometimes the work has to come first.
Oh yeah, no, we all understand. But yeah, I mean, we've been building to it for months, so you know.
Yeah,
no,
I know. We pushed and said, why don't we wait till Blind's coming out, and then, but we gave you the Pretty Boy scoop.
Exactly.
So there you go.
Yeah, and we'll do more in the future.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. We have lots more to talk about.
Yes,
especially Joe.
Especially me.
Well, I think our last show with just me and Joe, it was like a couple hours long.
Yeah, it went a couple hours.
And a half,
yeah, that's not bad. An hour and a half. That's longer than the movie.
Give me the commentary track. All right. Well, this has been fun, and it's good to see you, Marcel.
Good to see you guys, and thanks for having us.
Yes. It's good to meet you, Jed.
Great being here. Thanks again.
And you as well, Joe.
Hey.
It's always good to see Troy and Trista, the double TRs.
Did you warn Troy and Trista about me? Trista knows me a little bit, but she's seen me more, I think, in the professional side than where I'm just being myself.
You're not as professional as you think.
Oh, yeah. Well, there may be that. But, was Troy warned about me at least?
Nah.
I was prepared.
He was prepared.
Okay. Everybody has their hair down and everybody's happy on the show.
Okay.
Every once in a while, since they're both TRs, I do accidentally text the wrong person sometimes.
Oh,
that's funny.
Good thing I never talk bad about either one.
No, it's true. You wouldn't believe what
or at least not to
did.
either them. That's other people with different names. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be careful.
Smart enough to stay away from that one.
Right. All right, well, it's been very good. Subscribe to Without Your Head here. Hit the bell icon. You'll get all the notifications. A lot of news coming up to the Without Your Head network. Some new shows coming up. So go to withoutyourhead.com. Follow us on all the social media sites. Spread the head and share this. We're going to give out we got some movies to give out. And that's all we're going to plug right now. So until next week, we'll see you.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thanks, everyone, for watching.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Night.
Bye.